I have been thinking about selling some bags, new year, new me. So I have sent my bags off to 5 different companies to see what kind of payout they would give me. And I thought it would be fun to share the results with you and hopefully will help you in deciding who to sell your bags to. So if you're new here, I'm Daniella and I am a handbag enthusiast. I love buying bags and I like talking about them. If you're into that, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button so you can continue seeing my content. Let's get into it. We have a lot of information to hit. So first I'm going to talk about places that I decided to not send a quote in for or to sell to just because their process seemed kind of wonky. Then I'm going to talk about the process of sending in a quote / the process of the places that I did reach out to and got back to me. And then we will go bag by bag and I will tell you the different prices that I got. So let's start. There are obviously so many companies that we have all heard of or shopped for, but these are the ones that I skipped and did not send my items in for a quote. The first one being The Real, because they do consignment and you have to schedule an appointment. It just seemed very time consuming, and if I wasn't 100% on board with selling to them, I don't want to waste my time or theirs. Rebag is one that I've bought in bags from, but I've heard a lot of horror stories on selling bags to them and that they do the bait and switch, that they'll tell you a price and then they'll end up saying, oh, actually we're going to pay you this price and it's a lot lower. And I think for this reason they switched up how they give you quotes. Now you just kind of go in and put your item that you're trying to sell in their site / app, and you just kind of find a like one that is kind of like yours, and then you still have to send your bag in and you won't get a quote until they look at it in person. So I kind of hated that because I don't want to send my bag off if I'm not 100% sure on the quote. Vestiaire was another one I got a lot of comments about, and a lot of people like it, but then a lot of people also don't like it. It seems like an eBay for luxury items where you are personally selling your things and having to deal with that. And then when your item is sold, your item gets sent to their authentication services and then it gets sent out. Again, very manual, tedious process. I just want to pay out. The last place that I looked into was What Goes Around Comes Around, and this was also a very manual process where you have to email them your pictures and all of that. There aren't any prompts asking questions or telling them anything. I didn't want to deal with all that, so I skipped them too. So the companies that I did end up reaching out to and getting quotes from, I'm going to go through them kind of quickly and then I'll tell you all of the prices of each bag as I go through each bag. MyGemma, they will either do a buyout or you can consign with them. My bags were all buyouts because that's what I clicked. I did have to take a phone call with their buyer before they would send me their quote. They sent me their quote via email. He did say that if I received a higher quote from a different company, but I really wanted to work with them, they would try and work with me to meet that quote. So I thought that was pretty cool that they are wanting to work with you and are willing to match if they can. Yoogi's, I sent in pictures, pretty seamless. They got back to me within a few days and they give a range of pricing, which I understand. As a company, they just want to make sure that they're not going to overpay on something, but I just kind of want a set rate. I don't want either you're going to pay me on the high end or the low end, so I didn't really like that. Fashionphile, of course, I have sold to them probably a year ago, a little under a year ago at this point. Very seamless process. They will pay you out as soon as the bag gets to their headquarters. I took it to Neiman Marcus to ship and they packaged and everything. That is the other thing I don't like having to deal with, is having to package up the bag and make sure it's not going to fall out or anything like that. So very seamless. If you have a Neiman's, you can just go drop it off and take it there. And then also, if you opt for store credit, that gets you an extra 10%. Farfetch was another company that I sent it to, which I didn't realize that they did this. Bags only. It was a quick turnaround time. They don't do shoes. Very quick. I got it within the day. Bag Borrow and Steal, they do sell selling and consignment. Very seamless as well. The first bag that I sent in was my Dauphine MM. I bought this off of Fashionphile a couple of years ago. It hasn't really been worn that much. I have a couple videos on why this isn't my favorite bag. I do have the longer strap that I just keep inside, and then I also have the dust bag. So I made sure to include all of that in the pictures and in the description. The price of this bag right now, if you were to buy on Louis, is $3,900. For research purposes, I am going to tell y'all the price that the company gave me and then the price that they have of the bag on their website that they're selling it for. MyGemma gave me a price of $1,300, and on their site they have one selling for $2,450. Yoogi's gave me a price of $990 to $1,080, and they didn't have any on their website. Fashionphile gave me a price of $1,050, and the lowest priced bag on their site is $2,495. Farfetch did pass on this bag, so they didn't offer me a quote, but their lowest price bag is $5,733. So that one was definitely not sure what's going on with their pricing and where they got that number to sell a Dauphine MM. But moving on, Bag Borrow Steal gave me a price of $1,200, and they didn't have any on their site. After going through all of that and sending in the quote to everyone, it kind of seemed like I got the same range kind of just about everywhere, but I think I have just decided to hold on to this one for a little longer. Maybe I will attempt to sell it on my own, and then maybe I just will end up shipping it to either MyGemma or Fashionphile. We will see, but let's move on to the Soho. I have had this bag maybe since like 2021. The Gucci Soho Disco bag in Tabasco Red. Also bought this one from Fashionphile. I bought it for like $800 to $900, so got a really good price on it. They are selling for $2,300 retail, but that is the newer updated version, so not technically like a one-for-one price. MyGemma gave me a price of $500. They have a black one on their site selling for $850. Yoogi's gave me a range of $440 to $580, and their lowest price bag on their site is $925. Fashionphile passed. They do have quite a bit of these. Their lowest is $670. Farfetch gave me a price of $350, with their lowest price bag being $993. Again, don't know where they get these prices from. Bag Borrow Steal gave me $450. They didn't have any on their site. Not bad pricing. I think if I was gonna sell it, I would probably go MyGemma. The man that I spoke with did tell me that this bag is just priced lower because a lot of the times it does have to be discounted pretty heavily. There are a lot on the pre-loved market, so I get it. I didn't think these prices were bad, but just kind of thinking that you can't buy a Gucci for $500 anymore, like a full-sized bag. I think I've just decided to keep it. If it gets wear, that's fine, and if it doesn't, I guess it looks nice on my little stand. I don't know, we'll see. Let me know what y'all think about this one. The bag I knew I was not going to part with, one being it was my anniversary present, and it's just too new. I haven't even worn it, but for research purposes I sent it off. So for this one, I have the crossbody strap, I have the dust bag, and I have the box. I have the receipts. Basically excellent condition, which I sent all of this in. So I paid $2,230 for it. It was like a special edition, so you can't get it anymore. MyGemma gave me a price of $1,200, and they don't have any on their website. Yoogi's gave me a range of $1,375 to $1,500. They don't have any on the site either. Fashionphile gave me a price of $1,600. Their lowest on the site is $3,085. Farfetch gave me a price of $1,400. They didn't have any on the site. Bag Borrow Steal gave me $1,200, and they also didn't have any on the site. I don't know what I thought I was going to get for this bag. I just kind of thought it would be interesting because they are so highly priced on the pre-loved market, but $1,600, absolutely not. Obviously, these companies need a room to resell it and pay fees and all the shipping, all of this and the other, but obviously I'm not going to part with it. But I did think it was interesting just to see what a newer bag that you can't get in stores would get. Lastly, we have my Chanel dad sandals. So for this one, I have the box, I have the tissue paper, we obviously have the shoes. I love these shoes. I think they're gorgeous. They are just so hard for me to style. They're also half a size too big, so I think they just kind of end up hurting my feet. And then I do have the dust bags as well. Shoes are apparently harder to sell than bags, which makes sense. Retail, I think they're around $1,550. Fashionphile passed. Kind of seems like Fashionphile is being very picky with their shoes. They're really only taking unused shoes or very, very gently worn, and these have been worn. MyGemma only does sneakers. Yoogi's gave me a range of $295 to $325. Farfetch does no shoes. Bag Borrow Steel gave me a price of $380. Maybe with these, I will just try to sell them on like a Facebook group or Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and just kind of go from there. Again, those prices were just not enough for me to be like, okay, take my shoes. They're fine sitting in the closet. But I really hope this was helpful. This was very time consuming. There's so many different sites that you can send your designer items to be sold. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe I am just trying to get too much bang for my items and I'm holding on for nothing. But I hope you enjoyed and I hope this was helpful. Let me know if there are other pre-loved sites that y'all love to sell to, because I'm sure we would all love to know. I will see you in the next video. Bye!